decided to speak out in defense of Reverend FD Reese, who had been indicted on trumped-up charges of embezzlement because Reese had defied King's efforts to reduce the Dallas County Voters League to an affiliate within the SCLC organization. That King and his principal advisors were silent because they had decided to sacrifice Reese. And Reese walked out of the courtroom a free man, and blacks came from everywhere running up to hug him. A day earlier, they would not be seen, even they were afraid to be seen even talking to him. That Abernathy was the only civil rights leader in Atlanta who decided to speak out in defense of Reverend FD Reese, who had been indicted on trumped-up charges of embezzlement because Reese had defied King's efforts to reduce the Dallas County Voters League to an affiliate within the SCLC organization. That King and his principal advisors were silent because they had decided to sacrifice Reese. And Reese walked out of the courtroom a free man, and blacks came from everywhere running up to hug him. A day earlier, they would not be seen, even they were afraid to be seen even talking to him. That Abernathy was the only civil rights leader in Atlanta who decided to speak out in defense of Reverend FD Reese, who had been indicted on trumped-up charges of embezzlement because Reese had defied King's efforts to reduce the Dallas County Voters League to an affiliate within the SCLC organization. That King and his principal advisors were silent because they had decided to sacrifice Reese. And Reese walked out of the courtroom a free man, and blacks came from everywhere running up to hug him. A day earlier, they would not be seen, even they were afraid to be seen even talking to him. That Abernathy was the only civil rights leader in Atlanta who decided to speak out in defense of Reverend FD Reese, who had been indicted on trumped-up charges of embezzlement because Reese had defied King's efforts to reduce the Dallas County Voters League to an affiliate within the SCLC organization. That King and his principal advisors were silent because they had decided to sacrifice Reese. And Reese walked out of the courtroom a free man, and blacks came from everywhere running up to hug him. A day earlier, they would not be seen, even they were afraid to be seen even talking to him. That Abernathy was the only civil rights leader in Atlanta who decided to speak out in defense of Reverend FD Reese, who had been indicted on trumped-up charges of embezzlement because Reese had defied King's efforts to reduce the Dallas County Voters League to an affiliate within the SCLC organization. That king and his principal advisors were silent because they had decided to sacrifice Reese. And Reese walked out of the courtroom a free man, and blacks came from everywhere running up to hug him. A day earlier, they would not be seen, even they were afraid to be seen even talking to him. That Abernathy was the only civil rights leader in Atlanta who decided to speak out in defense of Reverend FD Reese, who had been indicted on trumped-up charges of embezzlement because Reese had defied King's efforts to reduce the Dallas County Voters League to an affiliate within the SCLC organization. That King and his principal advisors were silent because they had decided to sacrifice Reese. And Reese walked out of the courtroom a free man, and blacks came from everywhere running up to hug him. A day earlier, they would not be seen, even they were afraid to be seen even talking to him. That Abernathy was the only civil rights leader in Atlanta who decided to speak out in defense of Reverend FD Reese, who had been indicted on trumped-up charges of embezzlement because Reese had defied King's efforts to reduce the Dallas County Voters League to an affiliate within the SCLC organization. That King and his principal advisors were silent because they had decided to sacrifice Reese. And Reese walked out of the courtroom a free man, and blacks came from everywhere running up to hug him. A day earlier, they would not be seen, even they were afraid to be seen even talking to him. That Abernathy was the only civil rights leader in Atlanta who decided to speak out in defense of Reverend FD Reese, who had been indicted on trumped-up charges of embezzlement because Reese had defied King's efforts to reduce the Dallas County Voters League to an affiliate within the SCLC organization. That King and his principal advisors were silent because they had decided to sacrifice Reese. And Reese walked out of the courtroom a free man, and blacks came from everywhere running up to hug him. A day earlier, they would not be seen, even they were afraid to be seen even talking to him.
Look, if you want to watch the show, go to our YouTube page. Our YouTube page, the Lineage Podcast. If you want to watch the show and see what everybody else see on StreamYard, go to our YouTube page. Go to YouTube. It's the Lineage Podcast.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep saying that through the show today, man. Everybody who following us on social media, man.
We live. We appreciate everybody coming in. Welcome to the Lineage. This is the second week. It's MJ Reese here with my host Alan Reese. We are on this journey right now on the Lineage Podcast of pretty much putting respect on Mr. Frederick D. Reese's name, Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese. We appreciate everybody joining in last week. Congratulations to Marco. He was the winner of the giveaway. The book entitled Selma Self-Sacrifice, the autobiography of Dr. Frederick D. Reese, written by himself and Mrs. Kathy Walters. If you don't have that, please go check it out. It's on Amazon. Selma's Self-Sacrifice. But we are here, the lineage. Like I said, second week, and we have a treat for y'all today. Get your pen and your pad out, because today you really will learn some insight about the voting rights movement in Selma, Alabama that you did not know about. Guarantee this. We have artifacts and things of that nature that I will not, I cannot, through the Reese estate, I cannot put it on screen specifically, but I will be reading some artifacts on here. We got some things coming up. Before we get into the show, I will say we need some volunteers. We have a project called the Bridge Project that we are forming with our team. It's going to be a treat. I can't really tell details because I don't want to give nothing away. I don't want to prematurely say anything that I'm not supposed to say. But we need volunteers, and basically you're going to be helping us sort out historical documents. We will be on July the 9th. So anybody that's interested in volunteering with us, helping out sort out these historical documents, feel free to hit our inbox. Y'all know where to reach us. You can hit my inbox, my brother inbox, the Lineage Podcast inbox. Right. Hit us up on YouTube, IG, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. Y'all know where to find us at. We need volunteers because we really have some historical documents that we want to that we're trying to get done with the Bridge Project, and we need some volunteers. Like I said, July the 9th. You hit us up and say that you're interested. I'll let you know the time and everything. We still getting that together, but we need from a good 12 to 20 people. So if you're interested, please, we would greatly appreciate it. The Reese family, the Reese Foundation, man, we'll greatly appreciate it if you can volunteer with us on July the 9th. Okay, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Hey, everybody who on Facebook, Instagram, the Lineage page on Facebook. If you want to see this show, like everyone else will see it, go to our YouTube page at the Lineage Podcast.
Right.
The Lineage Podcast.
And we appreciate everybody.
We
appreciate everybody subscribing that has subscribed so far. We're on our way to 100. We're gonna get that. We're gonna speak that. And let's get into the show, man. This show this week is called Betrayal. I know if y'all been following us, y'all seen the sort of quote unquote trailer that we put out there. That we got a couple of people feedback said, man, that is nice. And it caught their eyes and their ears, and they wanted to know more about it. But of course, I'm not going to give it away. Say tune in 7 o'clock on the Lineage Podcast, and here we are. Let's go into, where do we want to start? But before we get started, let's give a shout out. Every week we're gonna pay homage and showcase a Black business. And this week, this is dear. It's like family, man, with us. It's dear to our heart. This business. Let me go and put that flyer up right quick to show y'all. This is Grips Good Eats and Sweets. I know some of y'all probably have been by there. And 8 Grips Good Eating Sweets, located 1747 Metropolitan Parkway, Atlanta, Georgia, 30315. You can go check it out. They have a lot of different menu choices, and I guarantee you it's good. It'll satisfy each one of your different taste buds. Right. They got things like fruity pebble French toast, honey shrimp, cheese, and grits. Y'all go check. Please stop by there and tell Melvin and Melba that the Reese brothers and the Reese family sent you. Yeah, they'll look out for you. So yeah, Grips Good Eats and Sweets, man. We really love them, man. They like family, and so we really appreciate them. We want to show homage and promote them for the Black business of this week. Now back to the program.
Yes, sir.
This week is called Betrayal. Now, when I said get your pens and pad out, go ahead and get your pen and pad out. And I want y'all to know, well, let's see, why did we name this Betrayal? I know y'all saw the trailer and it showed, well, let let's pay homage to the late great Reverend, Attorney J.L. Chestnut.
That's right.
That was the voice y'all heard on the trailer.
And his legacy is well documented.
Well documented. The building just got named after him in Selma, Alabama, recently. I know it's been under 2 or 3 years, so recently. And his son Terry Chestnut does tours in Selma, Alabama, man. And he's a radio host. And he, you know, if y'all seen us on the radio in Selma a few times, most likely we was at his station. We dropped by his station, show us love. Shout out to Terry Chestnut. But yes, his father, the attorney J.L. Chestnut, was the voice on the trailer that you heard. And this show is called Betrayal. Now, a lot of people don't know. Let's start out with this. I got to show this picture because people would think, hold on, let me get it together. People would think that this was when Granddad, here we go. Granddad, this picture right here that's on the title, that's on the front of his book. If you look, say Police Department, Selma, Alabama, you see his number, but at the bottom is the date. It says July the 6th, 1965. July the 6th, 1965. So a lot of people will ask, well, wait a minute. Bloody Sunday was over.
Yeah.
They had already marched from Selma to Montgomery by then, in March 21st.
That's right.
So why did he get arrested on July the 6th, 1965? What happened, if you heard the audio from Terry Chestnut, he said they had got some trumped up charges of embezzlement. Trumped up charges of embezzlement for Granddad. I'm gonna let my brother say pretty much piggyback on what was going on and what when they were raising funds, what was the funds for, and what led to Dr. Frederick D. Reese arrest. I'm gonna let you go ahead and talk on that.
Well, that's easy, right? Yeah. There. Well, if you remember, bro, that during that time after the Teachers March, remember we have the artifact that when the school system fired my grandfather.
Correct.
What happened is that the money people were sending from all over the nation, all over the world for what people was doing in Selma was for the people that was losing their jobs and still had to pay their bills, to take care of the people of Selma, because I don't care what they tell you in the media, it was the people that stayed in the projects, it was the people that stayed in the inner city of Selma, it was the people who worked in Selma that were losing their jobs because the racist white people during the time who the blacks worked for will fire them if they found out they was a part of the movement. And my grandfather was a teacher, so guess what? He lost his job.
Facts.
Okay, this goes back to, if you listen to the audio of the great late Chestnut, J.L. Chestnut, when he said Martin Luther King was mad because Dr. King was mad at FD Reese because FD Reese would not agree to make the Dallas County Voters League affiliate inside of the SCLC. And so what happened when that happened, FD was traveling around the nation and people were sending money to the Dallas County Voters League instead of sending the money to the SCLC.
Break it
so
down.
It means that the SCLC did not have full control over the money. So since my grandfather did lose his job, he had the right to obtain some of those funds to help pay his bills, to take care of his family. So what happened when he did pay some of his bills and take care of his family with some of the funds that was sent from all over the nation, the racist white people tried to say he was embezzling money.
Now y'all recap that right quick. What the funds for was when people were in the movement and lost their jobs in Selma, Alabama. Somebody in Selma, Alabama.
Yep.
In a sense of retaliation, they would be fired from their job when their supervisors or their corporations found out that they were a part of the movement.
That's right.
So it was a form of retaliation. So they would lose their jobs, and what these funds sometimes would allocate, what they would help the people that lost their jobs who were fired. They would help pay their rent.
Yeah, hold on, stop.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
And remember, as he's talking, we have a list of people that was losing their jobs. We have the original list of people that they wrote the names down that was losing their job, the type of work that they were doing, and what they needed monthly for their household to survive. We have that list.
We have the list. So they needed $500 for their mortgage, $200 for groceries, $100 for gas. They wrote all of that down specifically.
How many kids they had?
How many kids they had, and all of that, right? So these funds were raised for the people that lost their job in Selma, Alabama. What happened was our grandfather lost his job. He was a teacher.
Because of the Teachers March.
Because of the Teachers March, which was on January the 22nd, 1965.
First time in world history.
First time in world history. Okay. So he lost his job because he was part of the movement, but we know he was the leader of the movement.
And
go ahead.
I love reference points. If you would reference to FD Reese on YouTube, and you would listen to him say, I told the chairman of the board to step aside.
That's right.
And basically what he told us, he said it was bigger than him. I told the chairman of the board, his exact words was, I told the chairman of the board who signed my check to step aside on the Teachers March. So because of that, he lost his job. I'm sorry about that.
No, hey, you know, we got this. So he lost his job. He was fired because of that. So what would naturally happen was he was one of the ones that lost his job. So those funds that were raised, he would also be eligible.
That's right.
To partake in those funds. Well, what happened was, you know how it is. You trump up charges to try to seem like, well, Reverend Reese, he's the head of it, so he should be one of the ones that sacrifice and not get any other funds. You know how they can come along.
That's right.
You know how they can come along, you know. But out of fairness, he was the one. Now, I will tell you, Granddaddy got fired from his teaching job, but he was also a man that believed in working. He did go get another job at a lumber yard
and work with our mother's father.
For
3 years. Huh?
Yeah, full circle now.
Yes, sir.
So now watch this. He did believe in that, but before that time, he was eligible to get some of those finances. So what happened? Trumped up charges of embezzlement. Now,
this is white people who did not like the movement was in Selma, Alabama.
There you go.
And that black people were trying to get the right to vote. They used that because my grandfather was the leader in Selma.
Right.
They used that not only to try to make FD Reese look bad, but also try to put a stop to the movement.
Correct. So
let's get that straight.
They tried
Alabama.
Right. So you think about it, if you go for the big dog, the other people be intimidated.
And another thing, remember this, they were also mad. Okay, Dr. Keenan came in January. The Teachers March was in January of 1965, January 22nd. Malcolm X spoke in February.
Correct.
Bloody Sunday was in early March. Then you had Turnaround Tuesday. But then you had the judge sign the order to allow the marches to be protected. And they actually marched from Selma to Montgomery on March 21st. But on March 15th of 1965, Lyndon B. Johnson told the Senate in the House that he wanted a voting rights bill. They knew that the voting rights bill was going to be passed. So what else they got to do? We got to go after Reverend Reese because this joker ain't got all this stuff started.
That's right.
Up here in Selma, Alabama.
That is right.
So that's why them racist white folks and some black folks.
That's right.
It's in the paper. And some black folks.
That's right.
Turn my grandfather in to them folks, to them racist white folks, to try to make him look bad. But guess what FD Reese did? FD Reese didn't settle out. Oh, no. FD Reese is a man of honor. So what he did, he went to trial.
And that's what leads to this picture right here.
Yes, sir.
So we done led it up to why this picture is significant in the movement. Like I said, I know people are wondering, why does it say July the 6th, 1965, if all of the accomplishments have been accomplished?
That's right.
Well, this is why. So now we go to the trial of Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese. This is where the betrayal topic comes in.
That's right.
Like my brother said, My granddad and Dr. King disagreed with this. Dr. King wanted to let the Dallas County Voters League be an affiliate, like Chestnut said, incorporated into the SCLC, Southern Christian Leadership Conference. By controlling money. What happened was Granddaddy lost his job, but he was going around speaking, like bro said, and he was telling people, send your funds that you want to donate to this cause because of what happened to the Dallas County Voters League. At that particular time, the Dallas County Voters League address was my granddad's address. 1566. It was a grain. So go ahead, bro.
But you're missing a point, a very valuable point that we have to understand. My mind just went blank.
It'll come out to you.
Right there, Jay.
It'll come out to you. It'll come out to you. Yes. Granddaddy was going around speaking, and when he was speaking and telling the people about the movement, the address was 1566 LaGrace. Now there you go.
The point we have to look at that the Dallas County Voters League. This is why, if you go in any book. Now I was reading Dr. Martin Luther King autobiography today. The papers they put together. I was at Barnes and Nobles and Starbucks, and he did mention that the Dallas County Voters League is the league that invited them to assist in their local voter registry fight. Okay. Besides that, you don't hear John Lewis talk about it. You don't hear Dr. King talk about it. You don't hear Abernathy talk about it. You don't hear no one else talk about it, because I'm here to tell you the truth. The SCLC and the Dallas County Voters League was at odds. See, this what we had to teach them. And it's nothing against these men's legacy. But what we're saying is that we're putting the truth out here to tell you why FD Reese is not in history. Because FD Reese was the leader of the Dallas County Voters League. The Dallas County Voters League and the SCLC was at odds. The Dallas County Voters and SNCC just was mad at the SCLC for inviting it. SNCC was mad at the Dallas County Voters League for inviting the SCLC. We know that. But they was at odds. So what happened was, since we at odds, because Mr. Doyle, he was the vice president of the Dallas County Voters League. Now I can reference back to an artifact that we have. I should have had it uploaded, but he was telling Abernathy, when Abernathy sent $10,000 to Selma, Alabama, that Mr. Doyle was saying that this is not enough, and I'm not going to get in the pissing argument with you on what belongs and what's owed to Selma, but this is not enough. So they recognized that the SCLC wasn't going to do everything right, monetarily wise, for Selma, Alabama.
Correct.
It's the same thing that people around the nation do to Selma now. They treat Selma like second-class people. When they come down for the Jubilee, when they do different things to Selma, they come in and then they leave, and they just don't care about Selma. Well, it started then.
Correct.
And Mr. Doyle spoke up like, "No, Abernathy, this ain't everything that's owed to us, because there's people here losing their jobs. We need more money. Well, since y'all are here and y'all do have the fame around the world, but you're not sending the money for the people who's losing their jobs in Selma like you should."
Correct.
So when FD started traveling, he said, "Okay, I'm gonna make sure they send the bread here. They're gonna send it to the Dallas County Voters League. Instead of traveling and saying send it to the SCLC, we're gonna send it to the Dallas County Voters League headquarters. And then the Dallas County Voters League board of directors will take that money to Atlanta and put it in Citizen Trust Bank."
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
So what happened? What happened in between? I got the letter. I don't have that letter. I'm reading the letter from May 6, 1965, and it is to Frederick D. Reese from Abernathy. It's pretty much saying that they mailed a check of this amount. I don't want to get amounts because we doing other things with this, but basically they was going back and forth about the amount that was owed to the Dallas County Voters League, and Granddad, and like you say, Doyle was getting it straight. Because what you don't want to happen is, and like bro said, like it has happened, you get all of this done on the back of Selma, and then you forget about Selma.
That's right.
And that's basically what was happening. But Granddaddy was not having it. So Mr. Doyle. So once Dr. King saw that, wait a minute, we losing money for the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. Why don't we put the Dallas County Voters League as an affiliate under the SCLC.
So we can have more control.
So we can have more control. But Granddaddy was not having it. And if you heard, well, you didn't hear the whole, well, you did.
The whole recording.
Yeah. He said that the Dallas County Voters League organization was older than the SCLC.
That's right.
So why would we do that?
That's right.
And so we're breaking down the intels and things that you may not know what was happening behind the scenes of. And I had a couple of people text me today about Dr. King, and I'm gonna be honest. I'm not here to say, oh, Dr. King's he didn't help. And his legacy, he was the face of it. He did tremendous.
Man, his legacy is unblemished.
It's unblemished. It's solidified.
That's right. You can't.
It's stamped.
That's right. But we just telling the truth on what happened in history.
That's right. That's right.
It does not take away the great leader that he was, but it just shows that he was human.
That's right.
It shows he's human.
And if you listen to Chestnut, he said some of the people after Granddaddy won his trial, we're gonna get back to the trial. Because it was one lady that was courageous, and she happened to be in the Courageous 8. They said her testimony really is what put it over the top for Granddaddy to beat the case, pretty much.
That's right. And they ended it in the middle of the case.
In the middle, exactly.
To be able to live it, he turned red.
Now, what we do know sometimes, man, when you get things done, and like Chestnut said, the same people that didn't want to be seen with FD after he won the trial coming up to him hugging. Some people, man, when your back is against the wall, when he come your way, they'll leave you. They'll leave you, man.
That's true. And my thing is this is a part of history. That man right here, y'all can't see it. Let me point at him right here. Let me see my hand go. Boom. He's the only person. When them folks came and got my granddad, he's the only person that was not silent. Dr. King and all the others, like John Lewis, now all the others, I don't mention everybody's name, was silent. And my thing is this: you don't have to tell a lie to tell a lie. You don't have to speak a lie to tell a lie. Your silence is sometimes just as bad. And all FD Reese did was sell me. And Dr. King was silent. When he knew this is not what happened. But only until Chestnut and an attorney from Birmingham got on TV and said that we are willing to subpoena the SCLC and all its donors corporately and individually. That's the only way that they was able to get Dr. King and the SCLC to stand behind FD Reese. See, this is what I'm talking about with us as black people. This is why we can't get nowhere. This is why we can't get reparations. This is why we can't get police reform. This is why in today's time, because we are not 100. That might not make any sense, but if you understand where I'm coming from, you feel me. If we always drop the ball somewhere, we always leave our brother out there hanging. If we disagree with one thing, bro, one thing, we'll try to tarnish the whole movement, right? Because we disagree with one thing, man. Right. And until we as black people get rid of that spirit, we will not get the things that we're asking America to do for us, our community to do for us. We won't get it. It's a shame that Reverend Reese had to be blackballed because they disagreed on some money. One thing. Money and women is a lot of times our biggest downfall. That's a shame, bro. Point blank. And just to piggyback off there, you're 100% right, man. It's like let's go. I know we did this last week before the people that are here. In case you don't know, these are some of the pictures of the movement. You see him all in the movement. You see him. Right there in plain sight. You see it. Matter of fact, go back to that picture. Which one? This one? One of them, that envelope right there. That's Dr. King's speech. Dr. King made at the courthouse steps in Montgomery. In the Capitol. It's called "How Long, Not Long." Y'all know that speech.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
But when FD needed them, look at that.
Right here.
You see him. We're gonna keep pushing. Look, if we gotta keep get on here every week and speak the same thing. The same thing, man. We gonna speak it. It's a shame.
It's a shame, and that show you, like you said, over one thing, man. After all he done, after all Grenada put his reputation and everything on the line. It just wasn't him; it was others. We gonna and going forward, we gonna throughout the weeks come, we're gonna highlight some other people, the names that I ain't gonna even say you may not know. I know you don't know.
I know you don't.
I know you don't know.
Guarantee you don't know, Mr. Dole.
Guarantee you. And so we're gonna highlight them also to show, man, that the movement would not be where it was without Selma, Alabama, and we see it today.
Well, Dr. King said in his autobiography. John Lewis said it in his autobiography. He said Selma gave us a Voting Rights Act. Dr. King said Selma gave us a Voting Rights Act.
It did.
Well, they said it, but why can't people? Why they couldn't say who were the individuals who led the charge to even get them to Selma to help assist to move the movement forward?
Right.
Now, Dr. King died at 68, so I can't really say that's Dr. King's fault. I can't say that. But I can say John Lewis had something to do with that. I can say that the other leaders, I can say Andy Young, and it's not against them. What we're saying is that as Black people, we want to know our truth. We want to know nothing but the truth. You know what I'm saying? It's like slavery. We know now we're learning where we come from. Before slavery, what part of Africa you come from. You're learning that. What I'm saying is, let's not get to that point with our generations only knowing a couple of Moors who was navigators who helped them navigate to the United States. Let's talk about that. We just can't leave it at Dr. King or Booker T. Washington or Du Bois or Frederick Douglass. We are more than that. And then after you get Martin Luther King, then you just talk about former President Barack Obama. We're more than just Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton.
Facts.
We're more than that, y'all.
Facts.
It is up to those leaders to tell truth because they were in a generation without social media. But what they did have in that generation is great penmanship. That's what's on our side, penmanship. And see, we are blessed enough to have all these artifacts that they can't say. We just not talking off emotion. If we went in a court of law, we'll win all day because we have facts and we have evidence. That's just the honest God truth. But we have to tell the truth. We have to hold our leaders accountable. Tell us the truth, what happened. Let's give credit where credit is due.
Facts.
Don't let your emotions of you mad at a person not give them credit.
Facts.
What's factual is that FD Reese was not a part of the 1956 boys boycott. Now they had their own boycott in Selma, and those buses didn't even come back. But they were not part of the Montgomery bus boycott. You know what I'm saying? Those are facts. We're not going to insert FD Reese there unless we find otherwise. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're not going to do that. So, but with Selma, Alabama, that's a whole different story. It's a shame when I read all these other books, they don't even mention his name. They just say other leaders in Selma. When you know.
I will read this letter. Now, and I will read this. Now, this is a letter that Granddad has sent to Dr. King. I just want to show y'all this is nothing that we're making up. Now, I just want to show this is to Dr. Martin Luther King, president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, Atlanta, Georgia. Dear Dr. King, I'm informed by the lawyers who are preparing my defense that my trial will be set for hearing shortly. Now, this is August the 24th, 1965. In view of the kind commitment of your organization to come to my aid in this matter, I respectfully ask that you contact attorneys Eskridge, Billingsley, Hall, and Chestnut relative to the fees and expenses anticipated that adjustments may be made with these gentlemen regarding a retainer. I thank you in advance for your prompt consideration of this matter. We shall overcome. Yours truly, Reverend FD Reese, president of the Dallas County Voters League, and he CC'd Attorney J.L. Chestnut, Peter Hall, Chauncey Eskridge, and Orgel Billingsley.
I got something to say.
Go ahead.
Bro. If in the beginning, if Dr. King was silent, we know that.
Mm-hmm.
But if FD wasn't important, why would they fund his defense?
Man, say that.
If he wasn't important enough, why would they fund his defense? At the end of the day, especially those men, they say they were men of God. Well, you got something now what we believe in called the Holy Spirit that convicts you. If you say you believe in the Most High God.
Facts. That's real.
And they could not walk around and this silent, gentle giant of a man who gave up so much. We could not sit here and allow for him to just go down.
That's real.
We had to do something.
That's real.
Had to do something.
That's real.
So that I believe at the end of the day they were convicted. Not only were they held accountable publicly by J.L. Chestnut, but then conviction settled in. Like, you know what? I might disagree with his decision, but what is right? That's why Granddad always say, what is best and what is right. Best for who?
Right.
But what is right?
What's right gonna stand.
Something what right goes beyond my emotions. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And Dr. King, I'm gonna say you were wrong. The SCLC was wrong. They owe the SCLC today Reverend Reese a public apology. Smith owes Reverend Reese today a public apology, bro. Because
you got let's put it into context, man. So you got to think in a matter of 7 months. Let's just look at those. Let's just look from January to July. Let's look at those first 7 months. Reverend FD Reese invited Dr. King. Dr. King came January 2nd. That was his first coming. Then he led a teachers march January the 22nd.
That Dr. King sent a telegram and said, "You're taking us miles."
Now Dr. King knew not like that. That should show you that's proof. Dr. King came to Selma January 2nd. Teachers march was January 22nd. Now, after that, Bloody Sunday. Well, Malcolm X came in February. Bloody Sunday was March the 7th.
That's right.
Selma Montgomery March was March the 21st. Then in July, he was arrested for embezzlement. So think about now, that's not to mention that when he told the people he was inviting Dr. King, he was booed.
By his own city.
In SNCC. So in 7 months, he invited Dr. King. He led a teachers march. He was booed by his own people. Was in Bloody Sunday on the bridge. Selma Montgomery, March 21st, which the same day he accepted Pastor Ebenezer. So he pastored a new church. Started a new job and was arrested for embezzlement.
And turned on by the people.
And
he went against his own people to invite to help.
Now watch this. Now watch this. So that means in 7 months, Selma, SNCC, SCLC, white people, and some of his own people turned on him. He had in 7 months,
and he had a son at home with a disease called muscular dystrophy. And his wife, and still had 3 kids at the time. At the time, and lost his job. And he was the only one working.
And lost his job.
Come on, man.
In 7 months.
Come on, Jay.
And then watch this. Now watch this. Now he went through all of that. Then when it came down to the end, after he got arrested, now what I just broke down, he led the teachers march, successful. Bloody Sunday, then Selma Montgomery, successful, right?
That's right.
Invited King, Dr. King, successful.
That's right.
At that mass meetings where he persuaded the teachers to do the teacher march a week before that, successful, right? Now watch this. Even after all of that, SCLC turned it back. No, by this time, SNCC didn't want Dr. King there, so they was against. They was mad
done with the movement because they kicked John Lewis out.
So they
John Lewis, where he said his famous speech, I decided to join forces. With who? Basically, Dallas County Voters League and SCLC.
So now
for the better good of the movement.
For the better good of the movement. Then Selma turned it back. Now watch this. After all of that, he got arrested for embezzlement. And right before that, when Dr. King was trying to make the Dallas County Voters League an affiliate of the SCLC, the same people that had booed him less than 90 to 120 days before, he had their back and said, this is not right. And he got arrested. And then, like you said, the conviction made Dr. King, they were silent. Then they had to come to his defense. Now, I want people to put all that into perspective. And then full circle, you don't even mention his name.
Even mention in your books. In your books that you write, you won't even mention them. Come on, man. You can't make this up. You can't make it up.
This man put a city on his back. City turned against him. And at the end of the day, he still did what was right for the city.
For the city. Come on, stay at the city. Became a city councilman. Was an educator in the city for 50 years. And was a pastor in the city for over 50 years.
I would submit to people, how many people can say they'll do that?
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, I wouldn't have.
Me neither.
You mean to tell me we can go long before that, but no one wanted Snick here. Well, let's say Snick. Let's say they wanted Snick there. No one wanted the SCLC. I went against people that advised me not to do it because I did it, like John Lewis said, for the better good of the movement. I did what John Lewis said he did.
He just marched.
He gets praised for that.
Yeah.
I get embezzlement charges.
That's right.
Like you can't make it up.
Can't make it up.
You can't make it up.
It's the truth, though. And you know what? The truth might hurt, and some people might look at us and say the audacity of him to say that. No. The audacity of us is one of us not to say it.
Correct.
You get what I'm saying? Because we're telling the truth. We give you a history lesson not from a person we just saw in a book. This is our grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Facts.
This is our granddaddy, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's disrespectful to me,
right? That
you try to write him out of history. It's disrespectful to me when you get in front of thousands and you just your mind just forget about FD Reese. Mm-hmm. It's disrespectful to me that you decide to come to a city where this man did so much, and you decide to name a bridge after a man who just comes to the city once or twice a year.
Amen.
That's disrespectful to me.
You went there. I can't disagree.
No, what I'm saying is disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
In our generation, we are the rebellious generation. We just don't take that. We just not gonna turn a blind eye of that. Mm-hmm. It's the truth. We at least gonna call you out on it.
Facts.
And then your silence. Facts. And then when you come to Selma, you don't even have a place for the city council and the mayor of Selma to sit. That's crazy.
Man.
The disrespect, y'all continue to disrespect Selma, mm-hmm. Alabama. And if I was a city council member of Selma, Alabama, you wouldn't have a bridge named every Jubilee. Until they do what's right, you're not gonna come to our city. And you won't get your emotional votes mm-hmm. as the Democratic Party.
That's all it is.
You will not get your emotional votes, and I just don't get enough fun. I'm losing anyway.
Already.
You don't care about Selma. You're not sending money to Selma anyway.
Just to
so
show.
What I'm losing.
Right. Nothing.
I'm not losing nothing. It's not. You're not showing your love for us, but to come in and bring your motorcade right across the bridge and stand at the bridge and turn back around, go to Craig Field or go back to Montgomery, get into Marine One or Air Force One and ride. You're not going in Selma hitting them potholes, because if you roll around Selma, you'll be like, man, all Selma's done for us, and we ain't gave back. Mm-hmm. Come on, bro.
Right.
Come on, man.
Right.
You wouldn't do it. If I was mayor of Selma, no. If I was city council, I'd vote against it. And people might say, Alan, you won't know. That's the truth. We got to start somewhere. And it starts at home. Look, man, we got to stop letting people take advantage of us and our history. You shouldn't go around Selma and not know, and not at least know the Courageous Eight's name.
Come on, man.
Every building in Selma should have a Courageous Eight member name on it.
Come on, man.
That memorial down at the bottom of that bridge, it only has 2 Courageous Eight members. And that's Miss Amelia Boynton and Miss Marie Foster. Yeah. It should be all 8 down there, bro. Mm-hmm. It should be.
Facts.
It should be, man.
Yeah.
The disrespect has to stop. Mm-hmm. And until we turn our own black people, our own black people, tell our own black people, you're wrong. And I'm telling every member of Congress, every member of the House who's been a Selma, who know the truth, you are wrong. And it's time for you to fix it.
That's facts.
And then I'm talking about black people. I ain't talking about white folks now. I'm talking about black people. Black people, man. That has to change.
Yeah. Because just like what we're talking about betrayal, and you know, we just, and I'm gonna be honest, man, I really enjoy doing this, man, because I feel like I feel real special to have a part of history, to obtain a part of history, man, that no one knows. And I will say this, being bro, we're not gonna just put it in anybody's hands. So I feel special to know that it's a part of history that no one else knows. So this is why we're so passionate about sharing. And it just so happened that it's our grandfather, but at the same time, I like to give people the inside and the behind the scenes to show that it's just not in our lives that things like this happen. Through the greatest accomplishments, it was always turmoil in the background.
That's right.
But the difference now is back then when they stepped out in front, they were on one accord. Yeah, so we're showing that you didn't know about this. You didn't know that a lot of people didn't even know Selma Boo, granddaddy, when he said he was bringing Dr. King.
They didn't know that.
They didn't know
why Brown Chopper is the mother of the voting rights movement churches, because FD Reese called around all the black mega churches in Selma, and that's the only church the only pastor who agreed to break the injunction of if 5 or more black people was together, they would get arrested. So
a lot of the times, man, facts, and a lot of the times we have that IG mentality. We only want to see the history that's good. We only want to see the outcomes. Oh, they marched across the bridge, March 21st, 1965, Selma Montgomery, everybody hooray. Harry Belafonte performed, Sammy Davis Jr., James. That's all we want to know. And we only use one point in the whole voting rights and civil rights movement to show the bad part, and we only put a couple of people out in the front, and we only show Bloody Sunday.
And then we don't show the journey.
We don't show the journey.
It's the most important thing.
It's the most important thing.
You ask any entrepreneur, anybody who built something from the ground up, anybody who's been in a marriage long enough, I don't care what it is, the journey is what builds character.
That's right.
The journey is what builds strength. The journey tells a story. Simple as that.
Because when people want to hear the story, they don't want they see your outcomes. They want to hear how you got there. What scars you had to get to go through.
And then what was the bad point?
Right.
It's not always the good. It's always, man, why did you become the person you are today? And you're gonna always reference to a time that you had to be courageous, that you had to conquer something. You're gonna say, this is why I'm the person I am, because I had nothing and I had to keep faith and I had to keep grinding. It's always that to give people the stride to move forward. If we come out and say, man, Martin Luther King, they were silent by FD Reese, they was mad, they had disagreements, maybe our leaders today will come together.
Right.
Instead of being on social media and going after each other, maybe they'll say, you know what? Why are we disagreeing? Why are we showing everybody we disagree on that 20%?
Right.
But we agree on 80%.
We get on 80, yeah.
Well, let's get that 80% done. Then we'll really feel like we'll really see that maybe we don't disagree on that 20% like we thought we did. We just disagreed on the logistics on how to handle that 20%. You get what I'm saying? And
so we're showing you the biggest movement known to man in the United States, man. We show you that even that movement had turmoil.
That's right.
And they had disagreements.
You married, ain't you, bro?
I'm married.
Don't you have disagreements with your wife?
I sure do.
I'm married. God knows I have disagreements with my wife, but we still married, right?
Right.
Exactly. I'm saying.
Exactly.
But when we share, if I marry when I marry people, and then when we talk to younger people in relationships and marriage, we always talk about what we struggle. We had to learn how to communicate. We had to learn how to do this. We teach. We talk about the things that are uncomfortable, because the things that are uncomfortable is the things that makes you greater. Being uncomfortable, it's good being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because it's growth there, man. It's growth in truth.
And that's the thing. And that's what we're illustrating today. Listen, I think, and I'm gonna be honest, and I've said on record, I think and I say this from the bottom of my heart, the late great John Lewis, all of the intricate people and pieces that went into this movement, I really think they are doing a disservice to Selma when they only tell the story of Bloody Sunday.
Yeah.
Why don't you go all the way back to 1960, 1956? How about 1961 when SNCC came? Listen, they were working 4 years before Bloody Sunday.
It didn't come overnight.
It didn't come overnight.
They make it seem like it did.
They make it seem like it.
Think about our generation, the generation behind us. When things get hard, they give up.
Give up.
They give up, bro.
And we showing you it was harder for them.
That's right.
And they didn't give up.
Come on, man.
Listen, man, listen.
Come on.
We're showing you that even, and this is and this week's episode, this week's show is not to put any type of bad vibe or anything on Dr. King's name, on John Lewis' name. We not. We done met John Lewis. We done, Lord I wish I would have met Dr. King, but through God's will, his life was taken early. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is, but it don't take away from the sacrifice that they put themselves in for the better good of everyone. We wouldn't have this platform right here and be able to speak without those guys. At the same time, we have to show, if we're gonna give them their flowers while they were alive and while they're gone, nationally, we got to give it to FD Reese.
Got to.
You have to.
We'll make sure that we know.
Because this is what I want y'all to do, man. And bro pointed this out today. And it's no knock against it, but I don't care about the backlash. But I want to be respectful when I say this. I welcome it. I want to be respectful when I say this. Listen to the interviews of John Lewis.
That's right.
Of all the leaders. Listen to them and try to find out the holes in their story.
The holes in the story.
Listen to what we're saying, and then you'll say, you know what? Them Reese brothers.
I'll give you one. I watched John Lewis's funeral. And I watched former President Barack Hussein Obama speak. Okay. And he was talking about Bloody Sunday. He was reminiscing a story that John Lewis had told him. Okay. And he said after Bloody Sunday, when they went back into the church, he said John Lewis sat there and he said that people were coming. He said he just had a feeling that people were coming. So that's what John Lewis told President Barack Obama. And I sat there, I was at my computer watching it because I was doing some work. I laughed because I knew that was not true. Yeah, I said that was not true. You can go back on YouTube. When Bloody Sunday happened, my grand said that the secretary came and said that you got a phone call in the study. He said, was Dr. King in the study? He said, Mr. President, he said that was Dr. King called me because he was in awe that a teacher was leading the movie. Yes, sir. He said that, I see you had a little trouble in Selma, and my grandfather said, Dr. King, that's an understatement. Yeah, he was being facetious. He was being facetious. We had much trouble in Selma. Dr. King told FD Reese then that I had sent a call all over the nation, and people was coming. So naturally, what did FD Reese do? He left out the pastor study, went to the pulpit, and told the people, I just got off the phone with Dr. King. He sent a call around the nation, and people are coming. Yes, sir. Don't that sound more realistic than a person just sitting there and saying that people are coming? Right. See, those are the holes in the story that we have to say, no, that's not true. This is what is true. So when our kids, when they grow up and they learn about this movement, they'll know the truth. Correct. See, that was the whole. Because as we all know, it takes a team. It takes a team to be successful, man. And if you think, I just, and I don't want to insult nobody, but if you think that the movement, the leaders of the movement, it was only 2 or 3 leaders, you are sadly mistaken. If you think it was just FD Reese, you're sadly mistaken. Sadly mistaken. FD Reese couldn't do that without the courageous. Couldn't do it. Without the Dallas County Voters League. And let's talk about the people that we don't talk about that. This is what just recognizing courageous 8 kind of at a default hurts history too. Because you got Reverend Galloway, you got Reverend L.L. Anderson. They were not the board of directors of the Dallas County Voters League, but they were in the Dallas County Voters League. Correct. See, by saying Courageous 8, it does not put the organization of the Dallas County Voters League into a structure.
Mm-hmm.
But the Courageous 8 was on the board of directors, but you still had other people in the organization that were working.
That's right.
See, this is what Selma got to stand up because the history is so rich.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Do you realize this history is just so rich that we haven't scratched the surface by only making it seem like we was a bunch of black people unorganized and we need the SCLC and SNCC to come to Selma. Come on, man. That's how they make it seem.
And they do. And we have a tour this weekend.
That's right. You know they get the truth on our tour.
We have a tour this weekend, man. We have a tour Saturday. And, man, I always say I open the tour.
And you still got time to book now.
Still got time to book it. We'll be there Saturday. We got one at noon. We got 2 other slots. If you want one, come get it. But I always say when I open, and I always and it took me a minute to realize this too. Once me and bro really started deep diving in this, and it's been 5 years we've been deep diving in this every single day. And I kid you not. Why do you think that the biggest movement known to mankind? Why do you think Dr. King, he sent people to Selma?
That's right.
Why do you think he sent people to a town that it was only the population of 25,000 people? Mm-hmm. It had to be an impactful situation going on in Selma for him to say, you know what, Selma is the place that I'm going, because I'm going to tell you why. Under the leadership, I showed y'all books and articles last week. Everyone has said it. Under the leadership of Reverend Frederick D. Reese, the movement went to another level.
Well, brother, this is what you got to realize right now. We work on a big project now, and we have a proposal. And what happens when they invited Dr. King and Selma, they had a proposal. They talked about Sheriff Jim Clark. They talked about who he was and how we knew that he's gonna bite on everything we do. All we need is for you to bring the attention and the cameras that you that you have the ability to do, because he's gonna bite. And he has a big old bite for he bites like a Rottweiler or a presser or something.
And he did. He did, man.
And so they explained it to Dr. King, and I know Dr. King said back and said, yeah, they're right. They already laid the groundwork. We've already done most of the work. We got enough followers. You know what I'm saying? Every time they had a mass meet, the church was packed out. People outside
waiting,
ready to move. Man,
ready.
MJ, look.
This picture behind you, bro.
They were getting arrested.
They were getting arrested. If you know that original picture,
look
behind them.
About 600 people behind.
Kneeling.
Look, MJ, listen, man. If we had their mentality today,
I know you're going, facts.
To stand together,
facts.
Sustainable. I ain't talking about just marching for 2 or 3 months. I'm talking about they move in grace. Now, you know, like I said, I got a little FD and Malcolm X in me.
Yeah.
I feel like both mindsets are needed. That's just my stance on it. And I feel like if we executed both of those mindsets in today's time and have their sustainable the way they move in the long term, boy, we'll be something serious. We'll be something serious, man.
That's real.
Both mindsets are needed. When Malcolm X came and spoke at Brown Chapel, his mindset was needed, man. He was right for going there and telling Dr. King, look, man, let me tell you something. If you need me, I'm here.
Needed.
I believe we execute that. If the white supremacists today knew that we had both of their mindsets, but understood the long haul, the long game, like FD Reese and Martin Luther King and John Lewis and Abernathy and all them understood, man, would be dangerous.
Mama said Marie Foster was the only one that would witness for Grenade.
Yeah, she was the witness.
Okay.
She was a witness.
Yeah.
No, I can't say if she was the only one they
called up.
Only one they had, but she was
the one that really
the DA was using her as a witness, but she got up and said, no, Reverend Reese was an upstanding.
Oh, I ain't know that.
Yeah, listen to what Chestnut said.
Okay. I ain't know that. I ain't know that.
The DA had called her up to the stand. And she was like, Reverend Reese is an honest man she said they trying to use Reverend Reese to stop a black movement. And remember, the same people, remember he said, when my granddad got arrested, So think about 5 months, man. Black folks wouldn't even speak to FD. They ain't want to be around.
Right.
Because they said people when he first got arrested, black people said didn't want to be around.
Didn't want to be around him.
Until he was found not guilty. That's when black people came up hugging him.
Right.
And a day early, they didn't want to be seen with him,
man.
Think about everything that you had done, man, and for your own people to exile you.
That's crazy, bro.
Come on,
that's crazy, bro.
And one thing about my granddad, he wouldn't say nothing bad about him.
Hey, man. Listen, all of this we're finding out. None of this came from his mouth. No. Any type of controversial or anything,
we see it in the letters.
None of it came from his mouth.
That's right. We see it in the letters. Now,
we see it in the letters.
What he do, a man that's my grandfather was a visionary.
Fact.
And he knew this day was coming.
Mm-hmm.
He had some grandboys that would speak out. That's why the spirit allowed for him to keep all those artifacts.
That's fact.
Because he knew that we would speak about this, but we had to have something to back it up. Now that we have letters and conversations between FD, Martin Luther King, Abernathy, and the whole movement, it backs up how we feel in the way we talk.
It's over.
So it brings truth to it.
Right. Shout out to grandma too. Shout out to grandma.
Shout out to grandma, man. Come on, man.
They kept everything.
They moved the house in 1960 and they still stay in the house. Man, we got first grade report cards from my dad.
And Auntie Crystal. It's crazy.
Recitals in the paper.
Right, man. And you know, they kept history, man. And to be honest, and before we go, I'll say this, me and bro, and I gotta say this to them too. We thank them for letting us head this, man.
Oh yeah.
Because they could have easily said, nah, we got some things we want to do, but they saw fit in us, say, hey, I think y'all could take it to the next level. And it's full circle because that's what granddaddy did. But check this out. The crazy part is me and bro, we ain't letting nobody take this. And it's full circle because granddaddy stood up from Selma. And in a way, if you put it in today's time, we're doing the same thing, man. We're doing the same thing, man.
Speaking in a different way.
We're speaking in a different way, articulating a different way. We just refreshing this thing, man. And it's the same thing because we had not to share our business too much, but we had somewhat of a deal on the table for us to do a TV show, but it wasn't right.
They just want to pay for screen time. No, sir.
He said, I wasn't gonna go in there, but they just want to pay for screen time and control the story and the narrative. But see, go ahead, bro.
Because I go on about
I know. I go ahead.
It's a lesson in that we as black folks got to stop selling and selling out for $1. Then my brother could have been sold the story, got on TV, this and that for screen time. We said no. We told him no. We're not signing that. We're not doing that. We're going to own rights. We're going to have creative control. See, we understand that like Eyes on the Prize. I want to give you one.
Yes, sir.
White people own Eyes on the Prize.
Yes, sir.
Eyes on the Prize is showing on HBO Max now. The Eyes on the Prize was filmed in 1986.
Yes, sir.
I was 1 year old. I'll be 37 this year. And they are still making money off black people's story because they own the license. That they licensing it out to HBO and they own the rights.
So think about that. So everybody I seen Eyes on the Prize in school. That's right. Think about that. Everybody that's on the Eyes on the Prize, they paid them for camera time. They took the story and they relicensed and resell it. So the same people that probably made
$100 behind it, whatever.
Yeah, that they made $50,000 in 1986, they're making $150,000 now. And the story is and our people are not benefiting.
And Selma's not benefiting.
Selma is not benefiting.
Because brother, how we look at, we like, look, what we make off our grandfather, we putting it back in the city of Selma.
Got to, man.
We're gonna buy some buildings down there. Got to. It's simple as that. We're gonna put it back in the economy of Selma because no one has done that. No one has.
No one that I know of. Now, if somebody can say different to somebody behind the scenes that came.
I'm talking about the major players. You look at Atlanta. Atlanta's done a great job with the legacy of Martin and John Lewis.
I was on Jose Williams Street today. John Lewis. I'm talking about they do it. They do it.
But what does the nation do for self?
Facts.
What do they?
Leave them high and dry, man.
So my thing is, it's gonna take us to understand that we have a rich history, that it can bring some type of wealth, and to put the wealth back in our community in Selma, Alabama.
That's right.
Because ain't nobody else gonna do it.
It'll take some work, but it is what it is.
We're gonna sell out.
Right.
I don't care about being on camera.
Right.
I'm on camera now.
Right. In the camera I want to be on right here.
On camera now, sell out, man.
Hey man, but we got to go. Our time is up. You know, we can go all day, but we don't want to keep everybody up. Nah, man, I'm about to do it next week.
Hey,
I'll do it next week. We'll do it next week. Give you another giveaway. But we got to get out of here, man, because you know they'll cut us off after a certain amount of time. We got to get out of here. We appreciate y'all tuning into the lineage, man, learning this history and learning all about FD Reese, Selma movement, voting rights movement, everything, man. We really appreciate it. Go ahead, bro.
Go to our YouTube page and subscribe.
Yes.
Please share it.
Right.
And tell your friends on your Facebook, on your Instagram, on your LinkedIn. I don't care what it is. Tell them to subscribe to our YouTube page.
And go ahead, bro. And be honest, man. If I know school is coming back up, and I will say this, we'll come to the school. If you got your kids and they doing projects or anything, man, call us up. We'll come and speak. It's gonna take all of us to really get this story out there.
And I love speaking to the kids.
Yeah,
the kids, man. I went to Seagull Elementary right before the school year ended, man. I had a wonderful time with those students, man. And that's where, you know, that's where my heart is.
Because they'll always remember that.
They always remember, and that's sponges, man. That's sponges, and they have no emotion. You know what I'm saying? You're teaching them something, and because you know our generation and the generation before us are stuck on what has been taught to us. Sometimes when we hear truth, we really don't want to listen to it because this is we're used to what we've been taught,
and we really don't.
You know
believe
what I'm saying? Like Frederick Douglass says, it's easier to train children into fix broken men, but sometimes you mean our mindset cannot change, or will not change, or we will not. We don't try to make it change. You get what I'm saying? So the children, man, is what I'm after. Right, teaching the generation, man.
Right, and it's a road that we wouldn't climb. We got alligator skin, man. Because you look, if we had said something real controversial, it'd probably be 114,000 people in here.
And I'm looking for what I would love for someone to come back and say, Reese Brothers, you're wrong. You know what I'm saying? I would love that dialogue because I'm gonna bring this truth out. Now get ready for the truth, because I don't care nothing about you disagreeing with.
Right.
I just disagree me in truth.
Right.
Bring the truth with you.
Right.
And not your emotions and not what you think or what you heard. Bring what you know.
And what I'm finding out, a lot of people don't know the stuff that we're saying. Even older people.
They don't.
Even people that were young kids when the movement was going on. They don't know the stuff that we're bringing out, man. So like I said, we feel special to being a part of that, man. So yeah, once again, we appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Subscribe. Yeah, like, subscribe, and all of that. So we'll see y'all next week on the Lineage.